What's up everyone, this is part 5 of building a house in the country, and today we're going to go through the rough-in electric. This video is going to focus mostly around the upgrades we chose and how much they cost. Every house that is built to code. There are a certain amount of outlets, switches, and lights that the house needs to have to pass inspection, and then on top of that you would pay extra for anything else you want to add. So we're going to touch on some of those so you can think through it when building a house. So at least when building with Wayne Homes, this whole process starts by meeting the electrician at the place after framing is done so you could walk through where all the outlets will be. You don't make any upgrades during the design center meeting. They ask you to wait until you meet with the electrician. So the electrician will come out a couple hours early and he will mark where all the included outlets, switches, lights go. So for example, this is an outlet he marked that was included standard. He would also mark the lights on the floors and where the switches would go. So then you would meet with the electrician and you would come through. You could either add or move outlets within reason. There are codes that still need to be maintained. We're not going to deep dive into those codes, but for example, I couldn't just remove this outlet. What we did with this outlet was we moved it over, but then we added another one on the other side. Let's go through and talk about everywhere we added or changed outlets. The first place we made sure we added outlets was every closet. So every closet, this is a hallway closet, the bedroom closets, master closets, if there were any closets downstairs, including the pantry. So we added an outlet in every single one of those to cover any use case you might need, such as in this closet, charging a vacuum, in the pantry, running a coffee maker, or in our master bedrooms of charging a phone or an iPad. Next place that didn't include an outlet, but we added them everywhere, was beside the toilet. So we added one beside each toilet in each bathroom. And this could be for something like a bidet. This could be to charge your phone. This could be for any use where you need an outlet beside the toilet. You can ignore most of this wall because most of this is low voltage cable, which we will get into in the next video. But for this video, we have an outlet anywhere we have a mounted TV. We added an outlet up on the wall. For the living room, we also added a chase, so that means we could route any cables down and over to the corner. If we have an Xbox we're going to plug in, a VCR, a DVD player, anything like that, anything external to the TV, we can route all the cords behind the TV. And then we also have our power outlet up here. Now, just because we added one here, we could not move the one from down there up there. Because of code, the one that is included standard had to stay. We could add the additional one. Next place we added an outlet was below the soffits. You could see one down below there, and you can see one right up here. So these outlets are going to be for Christmas lights, so we could plug the Christmas lights in up here. They're also controlled from a switch down there, so that means whenever we want to turn them off, we could just flip the switch off. That'll shut all the Christmas lights in the house off, and whenever we turn it on, it'll light everything back up. Next, we added some outlets on the front porch. There's one over in that corner, and there's one over in this corner. Outlets I would recommend thinking about in any garage are, number one, they're going to include a center mount garage door opener. Nowadays, they have side mount garage door openers that are a lot quieter, so I'd recommend mounting an outlet within 8 foot of the side of either side of your garage door. I'd also put some thought into if you're going to run anything that needs heavy wires, such as an air compressor, a welder, an electric heater. Something else that uses heavy wire is the charging port for an electric car. If you don't have one yet, but you're thinking about getting one, you might as well run the wire while the drywall is down instead of afterwards where you'll have to fish it through. Now, if you do some work out in the garage, I'd recommend thinking about putting them above cabinet height. So I think these are about 43 inches. So if you do put a workbench, they're above that. And then also if you have any wall-mounted cabinets, putting them up about 78 inches will allow you to nest them behind the cabinets so you can have stuff charging in the cabinets. And then the last place is on the ceiling. If nothing else, if you had no other outlets, I would add an outlet on the ceiling. You can get one of those retractable extension cords that have a swivel arm. You can use it all over the garage. They are very convenient. Now that we got through all the outlets, let's talk about light upgrades. So the first thing we did, because I'm not a big fan of surface mount lights, is we put recessed lighting as many places as we could. If you are going with recessed lighting, I like to divide the house into rooms. This is all open concept, but it still basically has a dining room, a kitchen, a living room, and a great room. So we divided that into different sections and we put 4 recessed lights at each corner. Alright, again we're in another room and we have the 4 recessed lights in the corner. And now a lot of the time we chose not to keep the surface mount light, but to keep the surface mount, we upgraded it to a fan box instead of just a light box, and it'll most likely just contain a fan. Now, being in a smaller bedroom where we didn't opt for recessed lighting, we did still upgrade it to a fan box, and now another option you can do is instead of having one light switch that controls both the fan and the light, you can divide them into two different light switches, so you have one that controls the light and one that controls the fan. So in the rooms we didn't go with recessed lighting and plan on having a fan light combo, we did split out the light and the fan switch. Something else to note, I did ask about closet lights, and there's some code that makes it really weird where I chose not to go with them. No closet lights in any of the standard closets. We do have lights in the master closets because they're walk-in. Now the bathrooms come standard with a light over the sink. So if you do have a double vanity, you get two lights. But we chose to add a light in the shower as well, and then we added an overhead light right over top of me. So there will be a center light for more so the bathtub area, a light for the shower, and then lights for the sink. Also, if you have anything in your home that I didn't mention in my home, ask your electrician. The electrician I worked with was very cool. If I didn't know, I asked him his recommendation. He not only gave me his recommendation, but then explained to me why, and made perfect sense. So I went with a lot of his suggestions and ideas. All right, now getting into a little bit more of the specifics that maybe everyone doesn't care about, but I still think they're worth mentioning. So the first up is a whole home generator. You have two options. So option one is an automatic one that detects when your power cuts off and turns on. That generator is going to cost you $10,000 for the total package, with the upfront cost, depending on what brand you go with, being $3,000 to $5,000. And your propane tank, if you're powering it with propane, will need to be twice the size. Propane tank for this size house would normally be 500 gallons. For a whole home generator that is powered off of propane, you now need a 1,000-gallon tank. Your second option is a plug-in generator. So with a plug-in generator, you have a plug on the outside of your house that you would need to plug in your generator, flip a switch, and then turn it on. You can make this even simpler if you put a pad out there, you put some sort of shelter where your generator can just stay there, but you'd still need to go outside and power it on. So that's going to run you about $600 up front for the hookup and $2,000 total for the package. So the difference is being able to stay inside your house and it happening automatically, or having to do it yourself and flip a couple switches. Also with a manual one, the plug is generic and you can buy whatever generator you want. With the automatic one, that $3,000 to $5,000 you're going to pay is going to lock you into a specific generator you have to buy down the road. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do the automatic generator hookup up front without doing the whole generator package. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is circuits. So if you open your electric panel, each of these switches go to a different circuit. Unless they're connected, then it's kind of the same circuit, but doesn't matter. Each different circuits. You can only have a certain amount of power drawn before one of these switches flip. So if you have too much stuff on one circuit, the circuit will blow too often. So home builders usually do a good job with setting up your home successfully so you won't overload it, but you also want to think about the specific uses of your home that might be different than other homes. In our case, it was the garage usage, and we wanted to future-proof for building a back porch. And let me show you what I mean. So this outdoor outlet is on its own circuit. You see how some of these other outlets are connected together? This one is on its own, and it's run all the way back to that box, because I'm going to use this, and when we build the porch, I'm going to chain off of this so the whole porch will be on its own circuit. Now, we also did the same thing in the garage. Now, normally when you're getting a custom home, the garage only includes one circuit, which is fine because that garage is 1/3 of the size of our garage. Now, our garage is a lot bigger, so we needed more outlets because we were going to be doing more work out here and more stuff was going to be running at once. Now, because of that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 different circuits. Now, some of them are for a chain of outlets, some of them are for the heater, welder, and air compressor. Because we have all these circuits, and they would all have to run back to that box on the other end of the house, it makes more sense to add an additional panel here. So we have an additional panel out in the garage, which we can now control turning on and off these circuits from this panel. So these wires only had to run here, and then we run one larger wire all the way back to that panel. And the good thing about that is if I do overload a circuit, I don't have to go all the way back through the house. I could just shut it off here. And if I ever want to add a new circuit, I can run it straight from this box and pull it where I need it. Well, that's all for the high voltage electric. Next video will be the low voltage if I ever get this organized. Catch you for the next video.